Using anger towards your ex as a way of trusting yourself, reassuring that you're not going to go back to them or allow them to, slip their way back into your life again is not effective and it's not sustainable. And if this is you, you know why I'm saying this. Because you won't forgive your ex because you feel like, how could you let them off the hook for letting yourself down? Because you forgive them, then how do you forgive yourself, right? But then furthermore, if you know your ex had a strong enough pull over you, strong enough hold on you, and you know it's not good to go back to them. That's the worst and the last thing you should be doing. But you don't trust yourself deep down that you have the willpower and the strength that if they come back and they start saying the right things and they start pressing the right buttons and, caressing you the right way, that you won't crack and start to believe in having them back again. Because deep down, even though you're hurt from what they did, you still love them in some way. And it irks your soul that you still love them because you know you shouldn't, but you can't help what your heart wants, right? And what we do often in that kind of situation is we double down on the anger piece, right? So it serves two purposes for us. One, so that we never forget what they did, and so that we make sure we keep fighting for ourselves now and allows us to feel some sense of redemption for what we allowed to happen in the first place. And two, it makes sure that where we don't trust ourselves, that we won't give in to them, it gives us an extra layer of protection to make sure we stay angry enough at them that it keeps us from going back, and we can trust ourselves that we won't go back because we're still upset and still mad at them. There's still this monster. But making a monster out of your ex to try to feel a sense of certainty that you can trust yourself, that you won't give in to them again, or as a means of feeling like you're rectifying what you didn't stand up for yourself for the first time around, is very ineffective. Yeah, can you get results many different ways, right? Can you somewhat get a result of making sure you don't go back to them in this kind of a way you're going about it? Absolutely. But is it sustainable for you, and is it healthy? Anything that you need to do to try to get a result that's, one, not healthy for you, and two, definitely not sustainable. And what do I mean when I say sustainable? Which means you can't operate in that state for too long and feel good in that peace, right? We vibrate on a love frequency, which is a positive frequency, nothing negative in it. So the moment you have to hold on to a negative framework to try to get a result that you're trying to get, then now it's not sustainable because it becomes exhausting, it becomes tiring. You become, drained at some point. So instead of trusting in your anger as a way of trusting yourself to not go back to someone that's not good for you, start to trust in the lesson you've learned. Remind and identify the lesson you truly learned from that experience with your ex, right? As much as your mind wants to throw the good memories in front of you to make you think, were they that bad? Force yourself to sit, close your eyes if you have to, and tap into all the painful things that happened. Not to make yourself suffer and all that stuff, but you need to make the feelings for what was not good for your life with them in it just as present as the memories that your mind wants to make you go back to, because your brain and body is designed to help you go back and get your attachment figure as a means of survival. So you have to do the intentional work to bring up the painful memories to make those just as prevalent and identify what was my lesson in there and what was the adjustment I've made since then to make sure I don't go back to that. And then you lean on trusting the work you've been doing to not go back to something that doesn't serve you as a means of trusting yourself and not holding on to anger, a negative state that doesn't serve you and is tiring and exhausting for you. It winds up hurting you more than it helps you. In doing this, you ultimately wind up trusting yourself with more compassion instead of trusting yourself through that anger. Compassion and love that, hey, yeah, I know they have some weak points for me, that they really stroke my chords a certain way, and that concerns me. But I've learned enough, and I have compassion enough for myself. I love myself enough that I won't allow myself to go relearn that same lesson, no matter how alluring it seems, because I know how this story ends. So lean on the lesson you've learned. And then, if you have not already, identify 2 to 3 action steps that you already take or you've been taking as a result of learning that lesson, or that you're going to take to keep doubling down and reinforcing and building that muscle that you learned and started to build from that lesson you got, that will ensure that you don't go back when your heart feels in its weakest moments while you're still going through your healing process. And if you need help with that process, so you can start to trust yourself in a healthy way and not the toxic way that keeps you hurting while you're trying to get this result, Either email me or DM me coaching, and we will get to work. Let's get it.